thina sakhomba uNkulunkulu sathi hey wena uNkulunkulu ngazosijwayela amasimba sakhomba uNkulunkulu thina sathi yey samshaya isiphongweni sathi forsake wena uNkulunkulu letha la Hello my sugar binga boongas, welcome back to my channel. If it's your very first time here, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. You know, I was actually mind blown when I discovered that a lot of people refrain from subscribing because they think they need to pay a subscription fee. Subscribing is absolutely free, and while you're at it, please hit the like button so that the algorithm can put us back on the map, because after after my so-called friend hacked and stole my channel thinking she could do this, thinking she could be me. She must have bumped her head. My channel got lost in the sauce, hence you haven't been receiving notifications every time I would post. And that demotivated me so much, because I was like, what is the point? Like, what is the point? Forgetting Uguti, that one person is invaluable. That one person is more than enough. If I can change the life of one person, my purpose in this world, in this life, would have been fulfilled. So I come back, and I just want to send a huge and very special shout out to everybody who's been DMing me on all these different social media platforms, on some King Zanny. We need you back on these YouTube streets. They are dry, they are crusty, they are grimy, they are boring. Please come back. And I also want to send a gigantinorvous shout out and thank you to my hubster, my hubby, my lover for life, my soulmate, who said, listen, Shushu, you've been gone for a minute, it's time to get back to the grizzy. And I was like, but babe, but Shushu, I just want to live in your balls, okay? I don't want to do that. I just want to live in your balls. Yes, I love and I miss my sugar binga boongas, but baby, okay? And you know, I never understood it when people would say, once I find the love of my life, once I find my soulmate and we get married, I am going AWOL, I'm deactivating all my accounts and I'm just focusing on my marriage, on my person, and I'm living my best life. And I would just be like, my goodness, do you not have anything else to do? I mean, there is a life outside of your husband or your wife. You have friends, you have family, you have other things to tend to, which is true. But baby, once you actually find your soulmate, and once you are actually married to the love of your life and it's a peaceful, healthy and happy marriage, all you want to do is live inside of them, okay? That's all you want to do. And I ain't even gonna front, okay? Now I get it, because I can relate. I have just been basking in the joy, the glory of this beautiful blessing of mine, which is my marriage, which is my husband, and everything that comes with him, okay? But I come back with a bang, and as you can see, I am rocking a rust top as well as rust hair, and our background consists of my stunningly unique handbag, which comes in the form of a house, because there is method to my madness, and my top has a smile right here where my heart is, because at the end of this story I will be very happy to get a whole lot of shite off my chest. The story is about how our house burnt down. So one Slimanyana day during the month of February, which is quite ironic considering the fact that one of the major role players in the story, aka Lady in Black, taught her daughter to skip the month of February whenever she was reciting the months of the year. Whenever her daughter was like, mommy, listen to me, I know all the months of the year. January, oh, lady in black would lose her marbles and she'd be like, yay. Wangihlanyisa wena ungalokothi uwusho uFebruary ngesimthini ungalokothi uwusho uFebruary ngamani weqe ngamani uthi nje January March April May uzuyofika ku December ungalokothi uwusho uFebruary otherwise uyobufuna ukungibona ngishintsha ukhala hey ngizokwenzakalisa mntana mina nginandaba nokuthi uyingane yami ezalwe yimini uqobo lwami washo leyo nyanga uyongithola kahle hayibo kwenze njani only to find ukuthi inkinga kaSiso inkinga kaMthakathi is the fact that my mom is born in February. Do you understand how much hatred, how much evil you have to have in your heart to teach your daughter, your innocent child, into wrong? Ungamela ukuthi ingane yakho ifail esikoleni. You'd rather have your child fail at school as opposed to mentioning the month of February because that's the birth month of your worst enemy. Guess now. How insane. And what makes it even crazier is the fact that her mom is also born in February. The very same mom that she used to beat up. The very same mom that she used to put her paws on. The very same mom that she used to swear at. The very same mom she used to threaten to unalive. And the very same mom, she applied a concoction of black magic substances on her mom's corpse, with the aim of transforming her into an entity that would work for her in the afterlife, nasemkhathini. And she uses that to threaten my mom as well as me. Athuma wami uzongilwela mina. Khuluma nami njalo ingane. Khuluma noma wami usisi wakhe. Emthreatenisha ngoma wakhe. And please note that if I say something in vernac, I will say it again in English so you won't miss anything. So after my grandmother passed away, she would threaten my mom and I and say that her mom would come after us. And everything of ours would be in shambles. Because her mom, my grandmother, my mom's mom would make sure of that on her behalf. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. And also for some more context, go back to my older videos surrounding this topic. Uzobona ukuthi ya no. Imagine yamerelwa laphayana. I am sweating like a motherfucker. Pelamina, I'm an international bae. So bear in mind that I am currently experiencing summer on my side of the world. So if you hear some background noise, it's the AC. Work with me. Anywho, so I'm on my way back from school via umalume. Umalume is designated transport that takes children to school and back. Mind you, lo malume uyangishela. Umalume was asking me out lapho ngingane ehlaza cwe. I started ukugibela umalume, I think loya malume in particular, in grade 10 if I'm not mistaken, and I was 15. Waqala ukungishela lapho indoda endala qala ungishela lapho kumalume. But mina, I never took grown men seriously when they would ask me out because I knew you're a grown man and I'm a child. You have no business asking me out. Like, you're old enough to be my dad. What are you doing? You're joking. Surely you're joking. Yebo? So I never took grown men seriously, ever. So I'd always be like, yo, Malums, chill. I'm a child. Like, relax. Stop being a perv. Chill. You know, unondanga bako. And I know you have gazillions of girlfriends, so like gay, like ew, you're old enough to be my dad, Bruce, stop it. Like sikbiza ngomalume. What more? What further indication do you need to realize uti you're dealing with children? You get me? You know? So I'd always just be like, ugh, slap his hand and be like, relax, relax. Ang brusha madolo whenever I change gear, so he'd touch my thigh. Whenever he'd change gears, because I'd always be sitting in the front seat. Nami ngizizwa amantsami yonke ayithanda front seat kumnandi ngibala imali, sometimes angkhokhi. Nje kumnandi kuntswempero, you know? Sihambe nomalume sizungeze ilokishi lonke, sizungeze idolobha lonke. He'd take me places and it would be fun for me because I'm sitting in the front seat, ngibona indawo, and it's just fun. It's fun. It's innocent for me. Kanti yena, he's making a statement. He's showing everybody ukuthi, yo, this is my little girlfriend. Ain't nobody gonna touch her. Hey! My goodness, sickos everywhere in the world. And so whenever he'd change gears, he'd touch my thigh. Yabo, and I'd be like, ugh, I'd be a little uncomfortable, but I'd be like, hey man, at least that's all he's doing. And I'm so grateful because it never got any further than that, you know. But a lot of people started seeing this and they were like, why lengane ihlezi ihamba nalo malume kuze kube late nyana cishe khwalale iphume esikoleni? Why lengane ihleli phambili kule tekisi kalo malume? You know, budlelwane buni lobu abanabo noma lobu ababakha. You know, a lot of people would question the relationship that I had with my Malumi, okay? And I didn't care because I knew that nothing was happening, you know? And I didn't realize Uguti said, and I didn't realize how big of a scandal it had become. Wapenduga is Sendaba, to the point where one of my sisters approached me and she was like, yo, I hear you're busy gallivanting with this dude. He is old as fuck, number one. So I don't know what you're doing with a grown-ass man like that, and I'm hoping it's not what I think it is. So I wanted to warn you because a lot of people are talking, especially my friends who've been knowing him and who know what he gets up to. And I was like, oh man, that's my Malumi. Like, genuinely, I see him as my uncle. Because I just enjoy it. I like changing the playlist. I like counting the moolah. I like not paying sometimes. And I like just wandering about and taking forever to get home because anyway, I don't like being home. Home is toxic. Home is dysfunctional. So if I could spend a whole lot of time out there, I'll take it. Like I prefer hell over home. That's how terrible home was for me, you know. So I told her, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. It's super innocent. That's my uncle, and ain't a damn thing going on. He might be flirtatious every now and then, but I just smack his hand and I'm like, no, we don't roll like that. I'm a child, you're a grown-up, leave me alone, you know. And he just, you know, he keeps it PG-13, you feel me? And she was like, I really hope so, for your sake. Don't do anything with him. Stay in a child's place. I hope it's innocent because baby, you don't want to go down that road. And I was like, alright, bet. Thanks for the info, but I promise you it's innocent, and shut up, relax. I got this, you know? Until this day, I truly appreciate that big sister move that that particular family member of mine pulled at that particular time, because after that, she just became Indu Nubru. Like after that, she just hated me like everybody else, Ekaya. And we'll get to that, but I'll forever appreciate that, even though I knew there wasn't anything going on between Malumi and I, and that I would never do anything with him or any other grown-up for that matter. But I really appreciated that she was looking out for her little sister, you know. And even though at times I would question her love for me, and I still do, but that one thing that she did showed me that, okay, whether or it's that thing, yo, I don't want this attached to our family name because this is my little sister and everybody's talking about her, so everybody's talking about me. Whatever it was, it seemed to me like it came from a good place, so I will always appreciate that. Right, Imotia Hamba. So Malumi's taking me back home from school, right? And I could see this look on his face. It was very telling, Uguti. Something very bad had happened, and I was like, Malums, are you good? What's patting? I thought maybe uyakoa, yabo nga veluni ntombezu 1000 or whatever, yabo. So I'm thinking he's going through his own little things with his girlfriends, or business is just, you know, boom, boom, boom. Kanti no, indaba ingama, ingawele, chesa, hey. Whoa, ayihlekisi phela lento ibhlungu but ke sesiyahleka ngoba kuhlekwa noma kushonini.
Ngiyahleka phela ngoba kuyahleka but ayihlekisi lento ngoba ibhlungu.
But yeah, and I was like, Kunzagalan, Malumi, what's wrong? What's going on? You look really, really sad. Like his eyes were filled with sorrow and he looked at me with so much pity, you know? And I was like, what's going on? And he was like, hey, I think you should go home and find out on your own. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, not this ish again. The worst has probably happened. The one thing that really gets me here, the one thing that crushes and cripples me is the loss of a loved one. So I thought, oh, my goodness, chances are somebody has passed away. And I'm like, who could it be though? Oh my goodness. So now I'm panicking, now I'm worried, now I'm overthinking. I call my mom, she answers. And I'm like, okay, mom's is aight. And at the time, mom wasn't working because she was going through some things. Because that's what happens. As much as it's super nice to have this anointing where you just stand out no matter what you do, even when you're not doing anything, but you'll always outshine everybody and everybody will gravitate towards you.
Khona inhlobo yabantu engifisa ukukhuluma ngayo namhlanje. Le nhlobo yabantu engifuna ukukhuluma ngayo inhlobo yabantu abanogcobo nempilo yabo. Phecelezi sithi divine protection. Labantu isikhathi esiningi abavamisile ukuthi bahambe ngescript. Ngichaza ukuthini na? Abamvamisile ukuthi benze izinto ezilindelekile ngesikhathi ezilindeleke ngazo nangendlela lezi zinto ezilindeleke ngazo kuba zenzeke kubo. Ake ngenze umzekelo. Angaba nezingane ezimbili noma ezo5 ashade. Futhi leyo ndoda imlobole ngenkomo. Labo bantu abantu uthola ukuthi uma eqede evarsity avela uthola umsebenzi. Abantu engikhuluma ngabo abantu abathuma behamba for an interview bephezela umngane kuvele iqashwe yena. Labantu engikhuluma ngabo ile nhlobo yabantu ekuvela ukuthi uma nihamba bavele bamiswe bona. Indoda ishele yena kodwa wena ufuna indoda ivele ifune yena. Labantu engikhuluma ngabo abantu noma kuukuthi abasebenzi kodwa bayaphila bahle. Awuliboni usizi lwabo alibhaliwe ebusweni. Inhlobo yabantu engikhuluma ngabo abantu singabanqumela sithi fanele ngabe kwenzeka ukuthi kodwa kwenzeke kubona. Labo bantu baphiwe leyo nto into yabo. Labo bantu ke nakhe ngifuna ukukuletha bayingozi abantu abanjalo. Bayingozi ngani na ngoba isikhathi esiningi oqaphela abantu abanjalo abavamisile ukuthi babe nezinto abayisebenzisayo into nje abaphiwe yona into yabo. Lo muntu umengena kwi relationship nomuntu othile wamona lo muntu amandla ahamba nawo ayakwazi ukuthi amvikele entweni ezithile. Uthola ukuthi mhlambe khona isifo ebefanele asithole kodwa angasitholi yena. Yeah. Labantu engikhuluma ngabo abantu isikhathi esiningi futhi ave ngoba nakho bayakufisela ukuthi kube khona okubo okwenzakalayo. Kukhona into abakwazi ukuyiqhubula ngesingabo. Leyo nto ikwazi ukuthi ihambe iyo address isimo on their behalf. Bengazange benze lutho kuwena. Labo bantu ngifuna ukukhuluma ngale trick Nkosi yami. Uyazi ukuthi ama video yami akusiwona ama video afuna ucabangela eduze. Ngike ngifuna ukuthi nginijulise. Hambani nami ke. Labo bantu akusibona abantu abasebenzisa izinto. Angakhala lowo muntu kube ukuthi sekwanele. Yikho isikhathi esiningi obheka abantu abona abantu abanjengalabo abalungelwa ilutho engazange enze lutho umnikazi ngoba ukwenze konke ebefanele akwenze wase activator into yokuthi imveli imlwele akenzi lutho uvala la mhlamba ngangena emkhulekweni noma phahle kanti imvelo uma isisondele sidila nawe sikulwela kubi mnandi. Labo bantu ngisho umsebenzi bengenawo ngeke ubabone. Labo bantu bahle bayakhazimula ngisho engenayo imali uyazi udidwa ipresence yakhe ngoba khona into ahamba nayo ongeke ukwazi ukuyichaza. Khuluma ngalowo nhlobo yabantu. Khona abanye abantu abakwazi ukwenza izinto sibabuke uzibuza ukuthi hayibo lo muntu uyenza kanjani izinto.
As much as lumnandi, guys, uGcobo, it comes with so many curses because the evil eye is constantly watching. There are people who are just disgusted by you, who can't stand the fact that you exist. Lapha wenzile lutho. You just exist. But because unoGcobo, uneyinhlanhla left, right and center, uyathandwa, kulula ukuthola umsebenzi, uqala ibhizinisi, liyadlondlobala, relationship wise ufunwa ngapha nangapha, uyashadwa, uyaphasa esikoleni, uyagogoda left, right and center, umajazi, udonswa nje ngapha nangapha, uthola imisebenzi ngemisebenzi phesheya, uhamba amazwe abantu abangazi nokuthi aya exista. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's really nice to have this anointing because life is beautiful. You have so many opportunities. God blesses you in abundance. Your guardian angels are constantly there with you, showering you with luck, gifts, blessings. You're multi-talented. You're appreciated in every corner of the world. You get to travel the world. You get to see the world with different eyes. You get to experience what true life and true love is because everybody wants a piece of you. People want to marry you left, right and center. People genuinely want to rub shoulders with you, but there are people who just hate you for that. And it's not even your fault. You didn't ask for it. It just so happens that you were born with it. So Uma was going through the most at work and they were busy practicing witchcraft on her. So she had to take a break before losing her life. So she went back home and she was like, yo, I need to take a break. I need to figure out my next move. So while I'm home, I'm going to make sure whenever you guys come back, ukudla kuzobe ku-ready, mina esikoleni ama-lunch aphekiwe, ama-uniform enu a-ayiniwe, everybody gets whatever they need, noma inini la bayidinga khona, ngizoprovida yonke imfudumalo eprovidwa umama, as if she wasn't already doing enough. Because she was already doing all of that and more while working. Yabo? But obviously coming back home every afternoon and finding your gorgeous, angelic supermom there, kufudumele endlini, that warmth that comes with a mother's love, that home-cooked meal, epewa umangi, shongathu fishy, wetini, even if it's just tinned fish, my brew, it tastes so different. It tastes so magnificent and so divine simply because it was cooked by mom, you know. So I always looked forward to going home. And when my mom answered the phone, we're down, man, you know, I could tell that something was wrong. So I was like, oh my, I gotta get home. Obviously there's no gallivanting this afternoon. And he's trying to get me home ASAP Rocky. So we went straight home, and I mean, I'm aware that I'm aware that something is off, but nevertheless I am still expecting to be greeted by isent yokudla okumnandi okuphekwe umama, because I know that every time I come back home my mom has already cooked a scrumdiddlyocious meal, and I'm gonna be greeted by that scent the minute I walk through the gate, regardless of what has happened or what is currently happening, because that's just the type of mom I have. No matter how heavy it is, she always takes the load off everybody's shoulders and she carries it on her shoulders, on her back, on her head. That's the kind of mom I have. So I knew Guti, she'd take care of business because she always stands on business, okay? And she wouldn't want me to be worried or devastated by anything, and she'd pretend that all is well while cleaning up this mess on the side. My mom would always make sure, and that's why it pisses me off. I think appreciate to my one. Yo, nothing. Nothing angers me more than that. After everything she has done, after everything she continues to do, the fact that manje, there are people who've forgotten about the sacrifices she's made. There are people who've forgotten about the role that she's played in their lives and she continues to play in their lives. There are people, notice, there are people who disrespect, disregard, and discard her. There are people that she put her life on hold for. And there are people that she put my life on the line for, who have forgotten about her, who don't celebrate her the way she deserves to be celebrated. Ngoba kahle kahle fanele ngamkhotha izinqa. Fanele ngabe akaconsi phansi, fanele ngabe amkhotha obhozo. Kahle kahle. Ukuba iqiniso belikhona emhlabeni. If people were genuine and they kept it 100 with the realest people in their lives, I wouldn't be the only person taking care of my mom. I wouldn't be the only person who worships my mom the way that I do. I wouldn't be the only person who places my mom at the front and center of everything that I do. Because that woman is a queen. I call her super mom for a reason. She carried everything and everyone on her back, put her life on hold, put my life in danger, just so everybody else could be okay. Namhlanje abamazi. Today they've forgotten about her. Today they don't refer to her the way they ought to be referring to her. They don't even include her in things in things that she should be the very first person to know about. In things that she should be the very first person, or maybe even the only person, to be a part of. And it goes to show people are very ungrateful and very unappreciative. And I've learned so many lessons through every single thing that has happened to my mom. Not only the things that have happened to me, but the things that people, especially my family members, have put my mom through. Those things taught me that it's important to put yourself first. Otherwise, uzohlala abantu emhlabeni. Uhlala abantu abadala, udlala ingane, udlale wasana. Ube upopa nje ube impuma. People take advantage of good people. And I absolutely despise how people constantly preach that if you're going to be a good person and expect goodness in return, then you're not really a good person. You're not really a good person for believing that and for preaching that. You want people to constantly be taken advantage of. But if I'm kind and decent to you, the least you could be is kind and decent to me. Ubuntu. I'm not telling you I'm not telling you to give me all your money, buy me things, worship the ground I walk on. But be a decent human being. Don't act like I've never done shite for you. Don't treat me like I'm your enemy. Don't kiki with people who hate me. What do you mean? How does that even make sense? And here I'm not talking about people who pretend to be good people with hopes that they'll get some sort of reward. I'm talking about genuinely good people who make sacrifices in order for other people to live a good life. I'm talking about a person who's constantly there for others, who constantly wants peace in the midst of war. I'm not referring to a-holes who preach and believe that people need to be kind because you never know who you're dealing with and what you can get from that person. Then you're not a good person. You're not kind at all. You're just doing it for the sake of getting something in return. I'm talking about an angel. I'm talking about a genuinely pure-hearted person who never asks anyone for anything. And all she's ever wanted was a solid support system. But everybody she's been good to has turned their back on her and would rather rub shoulders and do things for her enemies and respect as well as worship the ground her enemies walk on and involve them in serious and intimate things that my mom, only my mom, deserves to be a part of. I'm talking about those kind of people. Those evil, ungrateful kinds of people And I don't want this video to be super long, but if anything crosses my mind, I will express it. I will get it off my chest, because remember, I told you I'm not bringing any children into this world until any and everyone who's caused a whole lot of pain, suffering, and trauma in my life has been addressed. You'll come up with these profound quotes about doing things from the goodness of your heart and not expecting anything in return, and forgiving and forgetting and trying to sound all profound and holier than thou, promoting bad behavior. This is the reason why wrongdoers, this is the reason why traitors get away with murder, get away with the worst kinds of betrayal, because you're basically teaching people not to reciprocate the goodness that they get. What do you even mean? Anywho, so I enter my home expecting to be greeted by this lovely aroma. Expecting to be greeted by this warmth of a mother's love that I constantly find every afternoon when I get back from school. I was greeted by the disgusting stench of shite when I walked into our home, and I discovered that they were holding a family meeting for my mom. Ask me what this family meeting is about. Remember that look that Malumi gave me, that look of just pain, sorrow, pity that he gave me, and he was like, Shano, you'd rather go home and hear it from your family members. Well, we get home and we establish that our family home, 1 block away from this particular home where they're holding a family meeting for my mom, ganging up on my mom, we found out that our family home had burnt to the ground. Why? Because Lady in Black's daughter heard voices saying, Shisa umuzi, Shisa umuzi, Shisa umuzi, Shisa umuzi. And that's exactly what the child did. And that child had been saying, I keep hearing voices and they keep telling me to do certain things, and it was never addressed. Why? Because the mom, Lady in Black, knew that these were her things. Because she's a witch, so obviously she has different entities. Or tigoloshe, or ama boys, ama kundwane, ama koko, ama fudu, God knows what else. Just a whole lot of demons roaming around that house, which is our family home. Hence, you'll clean it 50-11 times and it will keep getting dirtier and dirtier and dirtier. No one will eat, but the dishes will pile up. Everyone is sitting in the living room, but the veranda is dirty. There are footprints everywhere. There's mud on the corridor. From where? From what? From who? When everybody's sitting in the living room and the house had just been cleaned. Useless. Umuntu wakhona is a hoarder. Lady in Black is a hoarder, and on top of that, there are things. There are entities, there are demons, there are spirits roaming around that house who are filling up the house with nonsense, with garbage, with useless things. So it's a mess. No matter how much or how many times you clean, it'll keep getting dirty and dirty and dirty, because you're not the only ones living there. And it is only us with an activated third eye who can see, Wuti, there are other spirits roaming around here, doing the devil's work. And that's why they hate us, because we see right through them. We know who they are, we know what they are, and we know what they get up to. So most of our family home had burnt to the ground. Parts of it, teeny weeny parts of it, were still intact, showing but most of it had burnt to the ground. And it was burnt by Lady in Black's daughter, because the demons and all the entities that reside within that home kept telling her to burn down the house. And so she did it. She followed the instructions of Otigoloshe Bamawake, and she did what she was told. Doing what her mom and all these things abadila nazo told her to do. Next thing, they're holding a family meeting in our other home, which is a block away from our family home, blaming, wait for it, blaming my mother for that fire, blaming my mom for the house burning down. Kanjani? How? Where was she? Ungenapi, uhlanganapi. She was home. She was home, minding her business, being the good mom that she is. And they had the nerve, the gall, and the gumption to say the house burned down because the material that she used to extend and renovate our family home was too weak. It wasn't of high quality, hence it wasn't able to withstand the flames caused by Lady in Black's daughter. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? They blamed my mom for our family home burning down. After my mom had extended that home, had renovated that home, had fully furnished that home and made it look as gorgeous as it was and made it stand out from every home in the hood. And now you know that if you're from the hood, kuba khona izindlu egqama ecacayo ukuthi nakasibanibani o big house. Our family home was one of the very first and very few big houses in the neighborhood. You couldn't miss it. Amandla kaba amawam. Thanks to my mom. Ukuze umelo yamuzi ube I big house. Enhle kanjeyana, e fully furnished, e renovatiwe yama ngendlela ethize, ehlukile kuneminye imizi, amandla kamawam. It was all thanks to my mom. Yet they had the nerve to blame her for that house burning down, talking about the quality of the material used to extend and renovate the house. Couldn't survive the flames. Who caused that fire? And why? Nobody ever spoke of it. This is the very first time I'm saying it out loud because everybody went shh. Every time something goes wrong, Ekaya, it involves Lady in Black and everybody will go mute because they fear her, because they worship her, because they are her minions, because they promote her cruelty, her bad behavior, her evil deeds, and because they are a part of those evil deeds. Kwathulwa, kwathidu. And most of my family members know this, but no one's ever spoken about it. Some of them don't know because whenever the question would be asked, there's no way a house would just burn down out of the blue. What happened? What caused the fire? No one would say anything, but people would have the gall to say, bahambe bekhetha ama material a fancy kodwa angekho kwi standard ukuthi angamelana nomlilo. Wakwayizwa phela yonto. The audacity to say my mom thinks she's all that. Well, she is, just by the way, and that's one of the reasons you hate her, because she's everything you're not. She's everything you've ever wanted to be but could never be. Not even in your wildest dreams, Mthakathindini. The audacity to say she thinks she's all that and she goes around looking for fancy, stylish and unique things without checking the quality, hence they burn down easily. Kuthiwa umlilo ubangwe yini? What caused the fire? Who burnt down the house? Nsui nja. Ask me who's a part of that meeting. Lady in Black, of course. Any chance she gets. She'll take any chance to walk all over my mom. She'll even make up stories just so everybody just gets together and says, "Oh, Zanele, when's it?" Tanda mnono kuluma. Zonke izinto engasile ezimbi. Makuthiwa lungisani. Nakuse wenze ukuthi kumoshakele. Kumoshe lo dadweni enimsabayo. Kumoshe lo mfowenu enimsabayo. Nsui, phela mina ngishadile, angiyingeni indaba zala ekhaya, kodwa uyakwazi ukuyingena mayifaka uma wami. Kodwa uyakwazi ukuyingena meyifaka mina. And it's all just bad things. And you also want to be a part of the good things when we celebrate. You want to be put on a pedestal. You want to be thanked for riding the fence, thinking we don't see you. When you ride the fence, you've chosen a side. If you know for a fact that someone is being wronged and that person is innocent, and you're like, hey, angingen, and you're still keying with the wrongdoers, you have chosen a side. Pickle. So Lady in Black took the chance to walk all over my mom. And of course, this meeting was her idea. Her daughter burnt down the house, and then she decided, let's hold a family meeting, cussing my mom out for buying poor quality material that goes up in flames. Just in jail, all of a Sunday, out of the blue. And of course, nabashadi abangayingeni indaba zasekhaya, abangayingeni indaba zakwamsibi bayangena. Kodwa mekuthiwa lungisa, naba abantu bechukuluza abantu, naba abantu behlukumeza, naba abantu behlakaza, naba abantu behliphiza umndeni. Lungisa, speak up. Uyalibona naligongo, uyababona abantu bamabhuli. Khuluma njengosisi omdala. We, ngishadile, angiyingeni. Imagine if I said, I want nothing to do with my mom, I want nothing to do with my siblings, any of my relatives, I want no parts in anything that has to do with them because I'm married. Minage, the only one who's actually fully married, ekhaya. If I said I want no parts in anything that has to do with my Mtetwa family, my Msibi family, because I'm married, like everybody would be taken aback. Everybody would be stunned on some, just because you're married doesn't mean you're divorcing every other family member of yours. Like, what do you mean? Have you bumped your head? Like, are you out of your mind? Because really, that means I'm out of my mind. And it's very funny how selective lokuba married kwakhona is. Sometimes you're married and you can't be a part of certain discussions that have to do with my mom and I, but you're no longer married when it has to do with certain discussions that have to do with Lady in Black and anger issues. You've picked a side and you're just as bad as they are, if not worse. And as a Christian, you're way worse than them because you use God and Jesus to substantiate your evil doings. So of course, it was Lady in Black, it was Pitley Peak, and it was anger issues. My mom is placed in the middle. Sacrificial lamb. She's sitting in the middle. They're all surrounding her and they're going at it. This is your fault because A, B, C, and D. How? Njani? Nangoku anger issues. Kubalulekile nje ukuthi abantu benze i-research anduba bathathe inyathelo zokuthi ba-extende umuzi noma bawu-renovate lo muzi. You'd swear he knows everything. Ugh, that time I wasn't sure ukuthenga. The nerve to tell my mom that it's imperative to do thorough research before purchasing building material with the aim of extending and renovating a house. Now look, you've never even bought a loaf of bread in that household. The person you're talking to like that, the person you're belittling, the person whose intelligence you're questioning and insulting has contributed immensely to feeding you and ensuring that you grow up to be the grandpa that you are now. Yet you have the gall to act like a know-it-all and blame her for our family home burning down. Yet you never even contributed a bag of cement, because if you knew better, then you should have helped. Why didn't you? The very same anger issues who left my mom nesgaqa nesebeletu somaga wokusha. My mom has burn marks on her arms thanks to anger issues. He burnt her and uttered the words, "I'm tired of you constantly being on top. When is it going to be my turn? Why are you always the one shining?" And he burnt her and he was like, finally. He uttered these words and he said, finally, I've got you when he burnt my mom. The very same anger issues who would look at me me, the daughter of his sister. Every time I would greet him, he would pull a face and he would ignore me blatantly. And then the next child or person or family member would greet and he'd be like, how you doing? All is well? How's school? How's life? Oh, yeah. Mina got. Nothing he spoke. That time, I'm an innocent child. I've never done anything to him. I have a beautiful relationship with these children. I've never uttered a word of disrespect. I've never looked at him sideways. But ngizondwa. Because I'm my mom's daughter. I'm hated because I'm my mom's daughter. And shout out to Umam Nana Matendra, who once posted, pray really hard for your children. There are people who hate them simply because they are your children. And I was like, wow. Because for the longest time, I tried to figure out why the elders in my family hated me so much. I always wondered, I tried to appease them, I tried to please them. There's nothing I didn't try. There's nothing I didn't try. I went out of my way, dimmed my light, softened my voice. Even the manner in which I would step into the room when they were present. I would walk on eggshells, bow down, kneel, talk softly, respectfully, even when I didn't get that same respect in return. Because respect is earned. So I really wasn't supposed to respect them because they had shown me their bottoms my entire life. But because I wanted to win them over. Because number one, I was confused. I was a child. I yearned for approval. I yearned for their validation. I didn't understand where all the animosity, the resentment, the anger, the hatred came from because I was just a child and I'd never had any fallout with them or anyone associated with them. So I was like, what is it? Maybe it's something about me. Maybe I'm too much because I know all my life I've been too much for a lot of people. For simply existing. And so for the longest of times, I would walk on eggshells, I would dim my light, I would refrain from participating in certain things where I knew chances are I would outshine everybody. I would keep quiet in things that involved me and needed my opinion because I knew that I would say something and it would be heard. And it would be the truth and I wouldn't sugarcoat it to appease or please anybody. Because I always stand on business and I believe in the truth. But I also come from a family that promotes abuse. I also come from a family that promotes respecting elders no matter how evil and dangerous they are. I come from a family that says, shh, be quiet. That promotes the shush culture. I come from a family that says forgive no matter what. Family is family. Igazi, and blood is thicker than water. And time again, that's been proven otherwise. I come from a family that says there are certain people who are the way that they are. You don't question it. You don't challenge it. You take them as they are and you bow down to them and you fear them and you just cower. I come from a family that says let people get away with doing the most outrageous, the most unforgivable things to you for peace sake, even if it means that peace is theirs and you get to suffer for the rest of your life and you get to heal yourself from traumas that had no business being a part of your story. I come from a family where your mother's brother, Petelezi, anger issues, utters the words, you don't have a say. You don't have a child. So you don't get to say anything. Nothing that comes out of your mouth is of value because uyinyumba awunangani. Saying that to his own sister, my mom. Because my mom didn't have a child until she was 30 something, which is a beautiful thing. Because my mom didn't rush into things she had no business rushing into. Because my mom was a successful it girl. Ask about her. Zanele Msibi was a successful journalist for the longest time. And then she climbed up the ladder and became a news editor for huge publications for the longest time. And she contributed immensely to the growth of our community. And she changed so many lives emhlabeni wonke jikelele, worldwide. But because akaqalanga ngokugcinwa ngakho ngoba bona bahluleka bajaha izinto, because she planned to have me when she had gotten all her ish together after carrying everyone on her back and was fully established. And when she felt ukuthi yeah, sengiyilento engangikade ngifisa ukube yiyona ngiphumelele, now it's time for me to relax, have my baby and live my best life. Which she didn't get to do, mind you, because everybody was continuously piggybacking on her. Everybody continued taking and taking, expecting and expecting, and even having the nerve to say, phela wena la emdenini waqokelwa ukuthi usinakekele. Imagine abantu balengisa izandla. People got comfortable, they got lazy, and they were like, my mom was brought into this world and particularly into this family so that she'd take care of everyone. Hey! And the day she said enough is enough, Ningpuzi Nyongo, everybody showed their bums as if they weren't already doing that. And that's another lesson everybody needs to learn. Once you start standing up for yourself, once you start speaking up for yourself, and once you realize, people are taking advantage of me, people are using me, people are abusing me, people are taking me for a ride, and I no longer want any parts of it. I want to take care of myself, and I want to do things for myself and my daughter or my child or whomever you feel wena self as umuntu oqokiwe emdenini ukuthi fanele anakekele wonke umuntu. When you say nah, it's time for me to look after myself and all the things that I need to look after, everybody turns their back on you. Everybody all of a sudden has some sort of issue with you. Even the people you were closest to. Everybody all of a sudden starts listening to evil things being spoken about you, things that you don't even know about yourself, that come from the mouths of people who hate you. And the people you've been good with all your life believe those things and they side with your enemies. Now you tell me if those people weren't just waiting for an opportunity to say, yeah, finally, I've gotten something tangible that I can use against them and I can actually hate them like for real, outwardly, overtly, and actually justify my hate for them because it's been low-key. It's been low-key. My hate for her and her daughter who are out here doing the most, living their best lives, living a life that seems like a fairy tale. Who do they think they are? Finally, I have a reason to hate them. And if somebody asks me, oh, what happened to you and so? When was the last time you spoke to them? Why aren't you good with them anymore? I can actually use these lies as an excuse. I can actually use this false information given to me by their worst enemies, their biggest haters, to justify why I'm suddenly mean to them or why I decided to suddenly distance myself from them. We see you. Baby, when I tell you the very same anger issues, oh, I said like we outside building that my mom built for my brother, the very same outside building that the person who doesn't do thorough research pertaining to building material built. Anger issues stayed in for a while without anyone's permission because permission. So my mom builds a home for someone else. You just rock up whenever life throws lemons at you and you stay there. You don't ask for permission. You don't thank everybody who stays in that house because you don't even know how they feel about you, how they feel about you staying there. Are they comfortable with having you around? Oh, so she doesn't have a say because she's infertile. She doesn't have a say because yena uyinyumba, but izinto zakhe ezakhiwe uyena ngamandla akhe, ngemali yakhe, ngenhliziyo yakhe emhlophe qwa, zibalekile zona, zinesay kweyakhe impilo. They get to help you when your life is in shambles. The very same anger issues who constantly says no, angifuni, whenever my mom asks him to be a part of into zami. Mina ke ngane emsulwe engakazi imenze lutho ngaphela khona amzondela yona uma. Mina ke as his innocent niece, and every single time he would say angifuni, but he'd be a part of everything else. Hey, yo, uThobo, ngiyakutshela. The very same anger issues, makunento ethinta mina or ethinta uma, whenever there's something that's happening that has to do with me or my mom, oh, he would cause a spectacle. He would cause a scene. Hayi man, akwenziwa kanjalo man. Letha la leyo nyama, letha la lobo tshwala. Unika ubani ukuthi akahambe lo, ubani futhi manje lo. Hey wena ngane. Oh, heal, brother. Uyoziyongena egodini nje wena. Umuntu nje we-anger, umuntu ohliphizekile okuthiwa noma ubuza ukuthi inkinga ikuphi nswi. So you're comfortable with leaving a legacy ethi nje wena you were just a shitty person. You were just an angry person who hated everybody who did better than you in life, who hated children for sweet nothing, who caused a ruckus, who was always shouting, screaming, angry, frowning. Hello! Sasawuthwala ke boyidombolo. Mina ke bandla, I want no parts. Mina ke nje as a grown woman now, as a married woman, esengimdala ke now ngoba ngishadile. I'm telling you this, I am done. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of your shenanigans. I'm tired of being abused by you and being expected to constantly respect you and be cordial and. I'm tired. Because the fact that you thought it was okay to gang up on my mom and give her unsolicited advice, and the fact that you've abused us for so long and you think you'll keep doing that until the end of time, shows ukuthi and mina ngizwana nenhlanya. I'm mentally stable and I don't play with demons. That time my mom is still busy trying to process this nonsense, this garbage that has just been spewed by anger issues. Here comes Pickle Pick. Leli qogi elu Pickle Pick. Pickle Pickle says, ngempela sesi, wawusebenzisa leya material ngaliphi? Yayingekho yini enye indawo ongathenga kuyona? Yebo siyazi uyayithanda izinto ezinhle. Kodwa yayingekho enye indawo ababengacebisa kuyona ukuthi uthenge imaterial enjani ezokwazi ukuthi ingashi kalula. Pickle says to my mom, was there no other store you could buy from that would supply you with better quality building material? Did you have to choose that particular store that you bought from? How? Where do you enter? How is this any of your business? Aren't you married? Aren't you the very same person who came at my mom and I sideways recently and said Tina Skoli kanti uxolo yini bakwethu ngoba siyakholwa phela? Again, using Christianity, using God, using Jesus, using forgiveness, the phenomenon of forgiveness to manipulate people after wronging them in the worst way. When my mom told you that you broke my heart on my wedding day by being an a-hole, by being inconsiderate, by being mean, by being selfish. When my mom told you that you broke our hearts, including my husband's heart, when you came to announce a date, the unveiling. When you announced the date of my grandmother's tombstone unveiling and excluded us from everything The very same Petli who volunteered to be the one to announce when my grandmother's tombstone unveiling would be, after telling my mom, after deceiving my mom rather, and saying she had no idea what was going on, everybody was quiet pertaining to that matter. Meanwhile, they had started a whole new group on the side and excluded my mom, and they had concluded what would happen with regard to the tombstone as well as the unveiling, after my mom, myself, and my husband had volunteered to be a part of certain things pertaining to that. The very same Petli who constantly says she wants no parts in our family business because she is married was the one to make the announcement date. She had the gall when my mom gave her an opportunity to clear her name, because my mom didn't want to cut her off. My mom didn't want to come to terms with the fact that Petli is actually a Petli, and she has been a Petli this whole time. My mom had settled for her neutrality. My mom had chosen to believe. She had convinced herself that Petli riding the fence was much better than her hating her and her daughter, when in actual fact it's even worse. My mom had convinced herself as well as me that Petli was better than the rest, that she was the one family member we could trust, that she was the one family member who was actually on our side. And so for the longest time, we loved on her. We gave to her. We gave ourselves and to her wholeheartedly, because we thought at least we have someone who sees us for who we are and who genuinely loves us and who's on our side, because everybody else seems to have lost their minds. Everybody else is just so hateful, so jealous, so envious. It's just weird. And at least we just have this one person and her children as our support system. We took a fence rider because that's the best we could get. Do you understand how sad that is? Knowing that nobody in your family F's with you simply because unoqobo, simply because you're the chosen one, simply because God, your guardian angels, continuously bless you, simply because you were born with a pure heart and you're giving, you're loving, you're caring, you're selfless, and everybody else perceives that as you trying to be better than everybody else. You're the problem simply because you're presented with different life-changing opportunities. You would swear that my mom and I, thina sakhomba uNkulunkulu sathi hey wena uNkulunkulu ngazosijwayela amasimba, sakhomba uNkulunkulu thina sathi yey samshaya esiphongweni, sathi forsake wena uNkulunkulu letha la zonke izibusiso, letha la yonke inhlanhla. You would swear that's what my mom and I did, because sizondelwa lokho. So when my mom gave Petli an opportunity to explain herself, please tell me, my dear sister, whom I love and trust and whom I always thought was my genuine sister, my sibling, out of all my siblings who've betrayed me in the worst way, who've hurt me and my daughter in the worst way, why would you hurt us like this? Why would you be so shameless? Now my in-laws know and I'm tired. I'm tired of hiding the truth. I'm tired of protecting and defending people who want me dead. And as hard as I've tried to shield them and to make them look good, they showed their asses. Umona wethu nenzondo yethu ku-overpower kwasani asinamahloni asinandaba nanokuthi abasemzini basibona ukuthi inhlobo nikapende. We don't care, even if the in-laws get to see how evil, grimy, dirty and dark we are. So long as uZanele noZanenhle feel it, that's all that matters. Noma thina singayihlazo emehlweni yeinkulungwane zabantu emhlabeni wonke jikelele. That's how deep their hate runs. So my mom said, Sesi, please explain to me why you would turn your back against me, my daughter, and my son-in-law. And she had the nerve to say, Kanjani? Sengenzeni mina manje bengithunyiwe wena umdala. As an elder sister, as the one everybody constantly runs to for advice and for solutions pertaining to huge, major family matters, and you're the matriarch, all of a sudden you don't have the voice to say, no, this is wrong. You don't get to exclude my sister, my daughter, and my son-in-law from this because they did say they wanted to be a part of it. Why are you creating another group and leaving my sister out? Why are you finalizing things that they wanted to be a part of? Iphuma kanjani dates bengabanga ingxenye yalento bebethe bafuna ukube ingxenye yayo? Iphuma kanjani dates benga involvewanga babuza ukuthi yabasebenzela yini le dates? Why did you not question all those foul moves? Hayi phela mina sesingishadile angingeni zonke lezi ndaba. Oh, but you were a part of all the discussions pertaining to these things. You volunteered to announce when the unveiling would take place. Isn't the unveiling and everything else pertaining to this matter none of your business? When it's time for you to stand up and stick up for us, you no longer want any parts of it. When we're being excluded, disregarded, and disrespected, you want no parts? Make it make sense. On top of that, when I say, see, you broke my daughter's heart. Not only did you break my heart, mina ngimdala. I'm old enough to take it and I've been taking it all my life. But now you've broken my daughter's heart by doing that foul-ish that you did on her wedding day. And you made it seem like we were in the wrong for calling you out on it. How? Just by the way, she didn't apologize. She just said, I've consulted God and he told me, let me just wear something else and then my sister can wear her dress. And but Yana, she was on her high horse as if we've wronged her. Antuqololani ngaxolisa nje ngayitshela ukuthi kwadlula kanti nisabambela omaqhubu futhi mina sesi mhlawumbe ngeke ngiunderstand mina indlela engiapproach ngayo izinto ngishadile mina angisayena wakini indaba zakini angingeni mhlawumbe wena ngeke understand ngoba ushadile awukaze futhi ushade. Mind you, my mom's been married before. Now what? My mom's been married before. I'm married. We both know how marriage works. So when wayo wakho hluka and wayo wakho uselective and you thought you did something. You thought you ate when you said when I understand it because you've never been married before. My dear sister, there's no way you could understand the way I approach life because you've never been married before, forgetting that my mom's been married before and her daughter is currently in a very healthy and happy marriage. So what don't we understand? You thought you ate and you were being shady with that comment. You're not the only married one. And you're not the only one who knows what marriage is or how it works. So, nice try.
Kanti uxolo madoda lusho ukuthini. Manje we ought to cry over spilt milk. Lubuthwa kanjani ubisi soluchithekile. Ngoba bengingasakhumbuli kwakhumbula nje futhi ukuthi konje konke nje kwenzakalani kwashonaphi. But I trust God. He'll strengthen me and give me power to continue loving as I don't hate anybody. I love even my enemies and pray for them. Ukuthi bangikhohle. Bafune ubuso bukaNkulunkulu isikhathi sisekhona. Ngilandele nayi leli gama lamafungo aselingithwesa umthwalo. Kanti mina angisena nowakagwala, angiyena nowakamsibi. Nginenkinga zami zakam ezidinga ukuthi ngiyiface ngiyithwale mina njengoba sengiyi-single parent nje njengayo usisi naye. Ngcono ke yena azange ashade mina ngashada ngathola iy'ngane nama-behaviours ahlukene. Uyabona nje ngahendlisha izinto ey'ningi mhlambe yena angazange adlule kuzona. Okuningi mhlambe kwakhe kwakuwukwenjabulo, to please herself.
And after you said that, after you had the gall to come at us like that, we both realized we've been fooling ourselves. We've convinced ourselves that you're better because you've just been subtle with your hate. But now, especially after my mom's daughter, i.e. me, got married, everybody's butt started to show, including yours. Because no banina. Why? Why is it that every time we meet or every time we hear something pertaining to you guys, it's something huge, something beautiful, it's a blessing, it's something most people have failed at or will never get to experience? And I saw my mom, I literally saw my mom's heart break because she realized she had fooled herself for so long. And all the love that she had given and all the sacrifices she had made in order to keep you in her life were in vain. You were just like everybody else and you low-key hated her. But it got to a point where you were just like, I hate you and your child and everything linked to you guys, and I'm gonna show you now. I don't care. This is the very same Pickly, mind you, who's been showing us who she is. But we were just like, her offenses aren't as deep as everybody else's. So let's give her a pass. Because she'd come to our home with clothes, new clothes, for my other siblings, but she wouldn't buy any for me. But my mom let it slide a few times for peace sake. But I was like, plus ngingane. So I'm brutally honest and I'm just like, something's off here. What is this? Because when my mom buys clothes or anything else for that matter, she buys for everybody. So why are people buying for certain people and excluding me? And it kept happening until my mom saw that it really affected me, because I was just like, this is weird. Like everybody hates me. Like, like what is the issue? Like what is it that I don't know, Veli? Or what did I do? Who did I off? Like, why is everybody on my butt? Just trying with all their might to hurt me. And I'm a child. So my mom confronted her and she was like, Sesi, what makes you think it's okay to buy every other child goodies, clothes, etc. and even give attention to every other child, but then when it comes to my child, you're just like nonchalant and you exclude her and you don't give her a jack? And she was like, well, your child has you. Hey! And everybody else has my mom. I'm sharing my mom. So if my mom doesn't have the strength or the means to do something for me, and everybody else has the means to do things for everybody, but they choose to do things for certain people and then leave me out, what is that? What does that mean? What message are you sending? And my mom said, wow, that is crazy. Aren't you also my daughter's mom since you're my sister? Every single time I do something for the children or for anyone for that matter, I include everybody. So why is my child being excluded? How are you as an adult, a fully grown adult, reasoning in that manner? How is that your logic? How does that make sense to you? Everybody has me. I've been giving myself to everybody, including you. So what do you mean my child has me? So my child only has me? Is that what you're saying? Without me, she has nobody? She doesn't deserve anything because she still has a parent? What do you mean? Is she not a child like every other child? Are her wants, needs, and traumas invalid because she still has parents? And everybody else, we have to make sure they're good. And screw her, she's fine. Regardless of whatever it is they put her through in this house. Regardless of the fact that she's sharing her parents. And Pickle acted like she understood. And after that, I'll tell you this. She bought clothes twice for everybody. And she never did ever again. I guarantee you, had my mom not brought that up, she would have kept doing that ish over and over again, excluding me. But she was like, okay, let me just let me shut them up, do this twice, so they'll say I did it a couple of times, and just forget about them. Bonkeke manje, tsek nonkeke ngoba sendifuna noku-include umazethi-ke manje, and uyangisinda mina. It's been a thing. Countless things have happened that have shown hi man, there's a problem here. But we chose to overlook those things because that little teeny weeny support that we got from her was better than nothing. Yeah, straight. Abantu bathandaza baze bathandaze ngeilimi, abantu bathandaza baze bakhihliza amagwebu, bavuke eintatha, bakhuleke, barejoice, bapraise, baworshipe, bavuke phakathi kwamabili. They wake up super early in the morning, at midnight even, on some praise and worship-ish. Then they do this to children, and they betray their own siblings like this. And that is why overly religious people piss me off. And I'm not just talking about Christians. If there's something you believe in overly, and you don't apply common sense, everything is surrounding that particular religion and what's meant to be done according to that religion, because that's exactly what you are. You've lost your marbles. I can't take you seriously. Because over-religious people do not take accountability. They do the most foul things. They do the most evil things. And then they hold on to certain verses that talk about forgiveness in order to justify their actions. They quote certain verses to make you feel guilty for feeling some type of way about them wronging you. Believe in something. Absolutely, you have to. But apply your mind, use common sense. There should be logic, reasoning. Stop quoting Bible verses and using religion to excuse and justify bad behavior. And of course, the mighty lady in black, Ingakara Mato. Inkalakathe baphethe kanje bambenga amandese babenga konke ingquta ngamasende konke khale sakhe isixathulo bezwa yena bemazi kwacaca ba ukuthi umthakathi osebenza emkhathini azasebenzisa abantu basekhaya. Time and time again it's been revealed that she's a witch, that she practices witchcraft, that ukhohlakele, she's evil. She's jealous, she's hateful, she's envious. Time and time again, I kid you not, it's been revealed. There isn't a single soul, ekhaya, who isn't aware of this. But guess what? They adore her. She is their God. They buy her groceries, they pay for this, that, and the third. They visit her, they take their children to her with all that they know. They rub shoulders with her, they kiki and hoo-ha with her, with all the shite that she's done to my mom and I. That time my mom is their mom and I'm their sister, and they claim to love us. Hey! Abantu. Mina ngitshela ngomuntu. When I tell you fear human beings, I'm not being dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. I know exactly what I mean. I've escaped the clutches of Famina at the hands of my own family members.